The movie opens at Preston Corporation, where Linda is the best employee in the office. Her manager, Donovan, is very impressed by her report and praises her skills, but he doesn't allow her to attend the board meeting. He promises to let everyone know that it's her work. However, when the meeting begins, Donovan removes her name and takes the credit. Linda tries to share her frustrations with a coworker, but she comes off as awkward and weird. When others try to organize an outing, she attempts to chat with them and join, but she is always left out. Linda has no friends or family. She is alone in all her vacation pictures, and her only companion is her parrot. Despite this, Linda remains positive and believes that with enough hard work she will find success one day. The company owner even said that she was next in line for vice president. After dinner, Linda likes to watch Survivor. Her books and vacation photos show her interest in survival. The next day, Bradley takes over his late father's position as company president. Linda quickly hides her lunch and rushes to introduce herself, but she has mayo on her face, which repulses Bradley. She tries to make a joke about shoes, but it only makes things more awkward, so Bradley leaves for his office. Afterward, Bradley notices mayo on his hand and complains about how disgusting Linda is. Executive Franklin informs him that Linda was promised the vice president position, but Bradley says he will give the promotion to Donovan instead. Franklin explains that the company depends on Linda and that even Bradley's father relied heavily on her. Bradley doesn't care and wants her moved to another office to keep her out of sight. Franklin then points out that they have a major meeting in Bangkok coming up, and Donovan cannot handle it alone. In fact, no one has solved the issue with Appendix D. Bradley agrees to bring Linda on the trip, but only so she can assist Donovan. She will not be allowed in any meetings. Later, Linda notices that Bradley and Donovan are joking around together. A coworker informs her that they used to be fraternity buddies and that Donovan has been promoted to vice president. Furious, Linda rushes to Bradley's office to ask why she didn't get the promotion, pointing out that Donovan has only been there for 6 months while she has worked there for 7 years. Bradley explains that Linda is good with numbers but not with people, and he needs someone who can charm a room to secure business deals. He also points out that she has something on her teeth, further humiliating her. As a compromise, he tells her to join the Bangkok trip and solve the issue with Appendix D to prove him wrong. Linda tries to protest, but Bradley ignores her and goes to play golf. At that moment, Bradley's fiancée, Zuri, arrives, and Linda notices her very expensive ring. As Linda prepares to leave, Bradley tells her that people have been complaining about her eating lunch at her desk because of the smell, so she must eat in the break room. This is not true. He is the only one bothered by it. Linda walks through the office holding back tears, feeling like everyone is watching her. She makes it to her car and tries to convince herself that she is enough, but she still ends up crying. On the morning of the trip, Linda arrives at the airport full of energy and announces that she has solved the issue with Appendix D, but Bradley is not paying attention. During the flight, Linda continues working while the others joke around. Donovan reveals that he found Linda's audition tape for Survivor, and everyone laughs at her. When Linda realizes what is happening, she becomes so upset that she decides not to send her report with the solution. Suddenly, the plane shakes, and the flight attendant instructs everyone to take their seats and fasten their seatbelts. Bradley and Linda do so immediately, but Bradley jokes that only weak people need seatbelts, making the others laugh. When the plane begins shaking again, Donovan and 2 other employees are thrown around the cabin. Suddenly, the plane catches fire and starts going down. The wall breaks, and the cabin depressurizes, causing one employee to be sucked out. Donovan holds on to Linda's legs, and she offers him her arm to help, but he instead asks for her seat. At the same time, another employee tries to hold on to Bradley, but Bradley pushes him away. The employee manages to grab Donovan's leg. Donovan keeps telling him to let go. The man bites Donovan's leg, and Donovan responds by hitting him. Then Donovan grabs Linda by the throat and demands her seat again. Linda grabs a fork and stabs his hand, forcing him to let go. Both men are sucked out of the plane. The aircraft crashes into the sea, and water begins flooding the cabin. Linda holds her breath while struggling with her seatbelt. Once she frees herself, she swims forward and is startled by the body of the flight attendant. She screams before swimming out of the plane and reaching the surface, only to realize she is in the middle of nowhere. Soon, the plane disappears beneath the water. The next morning, Linda wakes up on an island. She wanders around until she discovers that Bradley is also there. He is unconscious and has a deep cut on his leg. Linda uses a rock to sharpen another rock into a blade and cuts plants. She gathers vines and branches to build a shelter. She also digs a hole and places coconut shells inside to collect water. By evening, it starts raining, but Linda is safe inside the shelter while taking care of Bradley. The next day, Linda drinks water from a coconut. At that moment, Bradley wakes up, so she gives him some water as well. He has a small breakdown when he realizes that no one else survived, and he thanks Linda for helping him.
But you look much better now.
Hey, thanks.
Afterward, Linda works hard using branches and leaves to start a fire. She also catches a fish and cooks it over the flames. When she offers some to Bradley, he refuses to eat because he hates the smell, so Linda forces the food into his mouth. The following morning, when Bradley tries to stand up, he feels intense pain. Linda tries to help him, but he refuses to let her touch him. She teases him about his soft hands, which makes Bradley angry. He reminds her to speak properly to him because she is his employee. Frustrated, Linda picks up her things and leaves him alone. As hours pass, Bradley pretends he can manage on his own. However, he soon becomes thirsty and hungry and realizes he cannot survive without her. That night, strong winds destroy his shelter. The next day, the sun burns his skin and he eventually passes out. Linda returns with water and tells him that they are not in the office anymore.
We're not in the office anymore, Bradley.
Bradley finally agrees. Moments later, he begins eating properly. Linda says she has seen animal tracks, so she makes a spear to hunt. Bradley doubts that Linda from accounting can hunt a boar, and Linda quickly corrects him, saying she is actually from the strategy and planning department. She calls him out for lying, since he clearly never paid attention to her work. In the forest, Linda follows the tracks but freezes when she hears a noise. Suddenly, a boar appears behind her and knocks her down. Luckily, it gets stuck behind a fallen tree, giving her time to escape. The boar runs around the tree and continues searching for her until it finds her jacket on the ground. Linda jumps from above and stabs the boar in the neck, but the spear breaks. The animal runs wildly, trying to shake her off, and then charges at her. She uses the other spear to stab it again, but the boar is still alive, spitting blood and mucus in her face. Desperate, Linda pulls out the broken half of the first spear and repeatedly stabs the boar in the eye, finally killing it. Moments later, Linda proudly drops the boar's head in front of Bradley and declares that she enjoys hunting. That night, they both enjoy the meat, and in the following days, they continue eating well. While exploring, Linda discovers a waterfall and decides to take a shower. Suddenly, she hears a noise and notices a boat nearby. She rushes forward to call for help, but stops herself when she realizes she feels happy living this way.
Not yet.
She returns to camp and gives Bradley some water while showing him a backpack she made from leaves. However, Bradley is frustrated that 2 weeks have passed and they still haven't been rescued. When Linda encourages him to stay positive, he snaps and yells at her, insisting that they should build a raft. Linda thinks it's a bad idea and they begin arguing. Bradley realizes that Linda is actually happy living like this and tries to walk away, but he struggles due to his injured leg. He argues that Linda thinks she's important, but he is the president of a major company. Linda laughs and reminds him that his father built everything and he is just a nepo baby. When Bradley fires her, Linda laughs even more.
Oh wow, you know what? You're so fired.
Oh no!
Bradley leaves and tries to build his own camp, but everything he attempts fails. Meanwhile, Linda builds a strong shelter, a hat, and even a hammock. Bradley becomes so hungry that he catches a bug and tries to eat it, but it tastes so awful that he spits it out. Eventually, he returns to Linda, who has prepared a table with a full sushi-style meal. He tries to act friendly, but Linda mocks him by pointing out that he has something stuck in his teeth. He then notices she has a knife, and she explains that she found it on the shore. Bradley begins to apologize for his behavior, but Linda pushes him to say more. He admits that he underestimated her and acknowledges how important she is to the company. Linda continues eating and drinking, making him more desperate. Eventually, Bradley falls to his knees and promises to help. As she keeps teasing him, he even starts begging and offering inappropriate favors. Linda immediately shuts him down and finally agrees to take him back. That afternoon, Linda takes Bradley on a walk to help rehabilitate his leg. They reach a mountain and follow a narrow path, facing several dangerous obstacles along the way. Linda shows him that there is nothing but ocean for miles. She then teaches him how to check for poisonous berries by rubbing them on the skin to see if there is a reaction. Finally, she points out an area with thorn bushes and poisonous vines, warning him to avoid it if he wants to survive. On their way back, Bradley decides to rest his leg. Suddenly, the ground beneath Linda collapses, and she grabs onto some vines to avoid falling. Bradley quickly reaches out and helps pull her back up. They fall on top of each other and laugh at the situation. During dinner, Linda reveals that she has been making alcohol from fermented fruit, and it should be ready by nighttime. They both get drunk. Linda suddenly shares that she used to be married. Their relationship lasted 10 years before his death. However, she doesn't feel sad about it because he was an unloving husband. Bradley says he understands, as he never truly knew his father. The man was always working and never formed a real connection with his son or wife. This leads Linda to admit that her husband was also abusive and had a drinking problem. She used to hide the car keys when he drank too much, but one night they had a terrible argument and he did awful things to her. Linda finally had enough and let him take the keys. He drove away and got into the accident that killed him. She reveals that she has never told anyone this before and concludes that maybe they shouldn't leave the island. The next morning, Linda wakes up with a terrible hangover. When she goes to wash up, she sees Bradley bathing and realizes how attractive he is. That afternoon, a powerful storm hits the island. Linda pushes Bradley out of the way to save him from a falling tree, and they run to a cave to take shelter. Bradley hugs Linda to share body heat. The next day, Linda wakes up alone in the cave and goes searching for Bradley in the woods. Their camp has been destroyed, and Linda apologizes for building it too close to the shore. Bradley reassures her, saying they can build a new one together on higher ground. Soon, they build a new camp. When Bradley feels his leg getting stiff, they go for a walk, and he thanks Linda for everything she has taught him. That evening, he volunteers to cook dinner and admits it's the first time he has ever done so. Suddenly, Linda begins to feel dizzy and realizes that Bradley has put poisonous berries in her food. She collapses. Bradley runs into the woods and returns with a raft he has secretly been building. He pushes it into the water and rows away. A wave hits the raft, but it holds, and he proudly gestures back at Linda. However, a second wave hits, and the raft begins to break apart. A third, larger wave throws Bradley into the ocean. As he struggles to stay afloat, he begins to hallucinate that Zuri has come to save him. Instead, Linda rescues him and drags him back to shore, even though she is still weak from the poison. She begins performing CPR on him. The next morning, Linda feeds Bradley and explains that she needs to teach him that he is no longer in control. Suddenly, Bradley starts feeling unwell, and Linda reveals that she has fed him a type of octopus that releases a toxin, temporarily paralyzing the body while keeping the mind conscious. Once Bradley is fully paralyzed, Linda places a knife in the fire and removes his clothes while talking about how she once had a dog that was fixed to make it more obedient. She tells Bradley that he must accept that she is in charge now and lowers the knife toward him, making it seem like she is about to harm him. Unable to move, Bradley can only cry as blood splashes onto him. However, Linda reveals that it was only a trick by pulling out a dead rat. She warns him that if he makes another mistake, next time it won't be a trick. When Bradley recovers, he continues working but ignores Linda. Meanwhile, Linda goes to the other side of the island to gather fruit, where she is shocked to see Zuri arriving by boat.
Linda!
Zuri rushes to hug Linda and even remembers her name. Linda tells her that Bradley is fine, though secretly she does not want the situation to end. She then leads Zuri and the boat captain back toward the camp. She wonders if there are more search parties. They confirm that there aren't. In fact, Zuri hired her own boat to continue the search. Linda takes the two of them up the mountain, claiming that the camp is there. When they reach a dangerous spot, she stops to pretend to tie her shoelaces and tells them to keep going. Zuri suddenly slips off the edge, and the captain grabs her while calling for Linda's help. However, Linda does not move. Moments later, she returns to the camp and sits by the shore, struggling with her guilt. Bradley suggests they go hunting, but Linda says she's taking a sick day. Bradley reminds her that he can't do it alone while noticing the knife nearby. That night, Linda hears Zuri's voice calling her name and sees her crawling out of the sea. Zuri accuses her of being a murderer. Panicked, Linda waves her torch, only to realize she is hallucinating when a corpse suddenly lunges at her from behind. The next morning, Bradley tries to go hunting, but he makes too much noise and the animal runs away. At that moment, he notices a hand sticking out of the sand. He has a breakdown when he discovers Zuri's ring. Furious, he runs back to camp. When Linda returns from her walk, Bradley confronts her, asking if she killed Zuri and showing her the ring. Linda explains that Zuri slipped, but she didn't tell him because he wouldn't believe her. Bradley confirms that he still doesn't believe her and brings up her husband. Linda reaches for the knife, but Bradley already has it. She runs, and a chase begins. Bradley soon loses sight of her. As he searches, he spots her shoes behind a tree. Suddenly, Linda jumps on him and tries to choke him with her shoelaces. During the struggle, he drops the knife. Bradley manages to push her away, tearing some skin from her head, but Linda jumps back on him to continue the fight. He tries to choke her, and she responds by biting his shoulder, ripping off skin. Then she bites his hand, and Bradley pushes his thumb into her eye. Linda grabs a rock and strikes him in the head, leaving him disoriented. At that moment, she smiles and reveals that she has the ring. She then swallows it and gives him the finger. Bradley tackles her, and the fight continues. This time, Linda grabs the knife and stabs him in the stomach, forcing him to run away. She considers chasing him but notices he is heading toward the rocky area and decides to wait. Moments later, Bradley reaches the other side of the island and discovers that it is not dangerous. Instead, there is a vacation house. Desperate, he runs to the nearest door and manages to get inside and drinks fresh water from the fridge. Suddenly, he hears Linda's voice mocking him. He opens a drawer but finds that all the knives are missing. Linda laughs, explaining that the knife he thought washed ashore was never there by accident. Realizing she is speaking through the security system, Bradley throws an object at the camera to break it. However, Linda continues to watch him as he moves through the house. She reveals that when she saw the boat days earlier, she followed it and watched workers deliver supplies. She memorized the lock code and later broke into the house. Linda also admits that she attacked the boat captain, causing him and Zuri to fall to their deaths. Bradley tries to hide, but Linda eventually corners him with a gun. Desperate, he breaks down and admits that he was a terrible person, but claims he has changed because of her. He calls her the most amazing person he has ever met and even says he loves her, suggesting they live together in the house. Linda says she loves him too, but then notices that a decorative helmet is missing a horn and that Bradley is hiding something behind his back. Bradley attacks her, making her drop the gun and slashing her with the horn. He grabs the gun and tries to shoot her, only to realize it has no ammunition. Linda picks up a golf club and strikes him repeatedly, finally killing him. A year later, Linda is a successful woman playing golf with celebrities. During an interview, it is revealed that she was found alone on a raft in the middle of the sea. Everyone believes she was the only survivor, and she even wrote a book about her experience, which is set to become a movie. Now, she is writing a self-help book, teaching people how to save themselves.
No help is coming, so you better start saving yourself.
Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for watching.